Hi, friends. Welcome to the Genuinely Curious podcast. I'm Shantiana Keys, and I'll be honest, I was thrilled to get back to talking on camera and doing this podcast. So, thank you for being here and thank you for listening because, I was geeked all week ready to do this. So, again, I feel like we found our calling talking to the camera, talking about the things that I care to talk about by myself in a room. So, welcome. Okay. This week we'll be talking about Candace Parker's retirement. Oh my gosh. The Drake and Kendrick beef again, some issues in the makeup community, and some reviews that I think are worth saying out loud. Okay. So I'm looking forward to it, and I really hope that you will stick around for this second episode. So like I said, we were going to talk about Candace Parker. Candace Parker, first of all, growing up, like, she was the gold standard, okay? So, like, I feel like I'm in the class of, like, Maya Moore, where, like, Maya Moore was the GOAT. Like, for me, Maya Moore is the pinnacle, okay? But you got to understand that before there was Maya Moore, Candace Parker was the person that I watched on TV, okay? She was the person who made me watch women's basketball at that level and who made me want to frankly go to Tennessee. Like, y'all, I was the girl with every orange Tennessee sweatshirt I could get my hands on, okay? Now, part of that was because my high school basketball team went to Tennessee camp every single year. So that kind of started that love for that program at the time. And, of course, the legendary Pat Summitt was a coach at the time, the all-time winningest coach until, the others dethroned her, but, like, the GOAT of all GOATs. Okay. So painting the picture, we're talking 2007, 2008 is when I'm like taking basketball very seriously in high school. And that's when they win their national championship. Like, I could go through that entire team and probably name every single person down to the bench warmers. Okay. And would be glad to do it. And I don't know. I just think that it cannot be overstated the impact that she had on me as a basketball player. I can remember being at Tennessee camp and like literally running all over the campus on the last day because this was going into my senior year. So my last year at camp, and I just remember sprinting around. I finally found Pat Summitt, who I was trying to take a picture with, and I did. And I asked Pat, I'm like, hey, is Candace still on campus? And unfortunately, she was with Sheldon, who she eventually married and had her daughter with. But yeah, they were out of the movies apparently, and it's unfortunate for me. I never got a picture. But then I ended up meeting her several years later, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago at a basketball game. She was talking to Dre Carter, who I was also just talking to. So anyway, I was able to meet her, and like that was very cool. I don't know. I just feel like there won't be a parade, and obviously she's done that on purpose. Like, she probably could have tried to gut it through another year, but she didn't really make it happen to have all the fanfare about herself. But she did post and say, I'm retiring. I promise I'd never cheat the game and that I'd leave it in a better place than I came into it. The competitor in me always wants one more, but it's time. My heart and body knew, but I needed to give my mind time to accept. And I think what a better way than to go out with a championship, which was her third. She won one with the Sparks, one with the Chicago Sky, and then now the Las Vegas Aces, where she's retiring now. But we talk about like GOATs of the game, and like Candace Parker is on there, right? She's on the Mount Rushmore of women's basketball. You could obviously argue that if you wanted to, but I just think for my age group, I don't think you can have a Mount Rushmore of women's basketball without Candace Parker. I mean, period. I just don't think any woman my age would say differently. So, just congratulations to her on such a phenomenal career and her impact on the game. I think that a player her size playing the way that she did changed the game in a lot of ways. And like, I'd argue that there's no Breanna Stewart in the way that Breanna Stewart approached the game if there's no Candace Parker before her, right? A player of that height, of that size, that build, playing the way that they both play. But yeah, let's just talk about a few of the accolades because like I said, GOAT, legendary career. She was selected number 1 overall in 2008 in the draft. She had a 16-year career, won those 3 championships, like I said, 2-time finals MVP, once in 2008, once in 2013. She was defensive player of the year in 2020. And like I said, played for the legendary truest GOAT of all GOATs, Pat Summitt. And so, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it needed to be acknowledged that she had such a indelible mark on the game. I think she doesn't get the hype that she deserves. And I think people know she's good and she does these other things on camera, like with TNT. But like her actual game, like pound for pound, like led her team to back-to-back national championships. I don't know. I just feel like if you're listening to this and you don't get it, like you're either just like too young or you don't know enough about the game. And that's just that on that. But yeah, no, Candace Parker, enjoy your retirement. You certainly left a mark on the game, just like you said you hoped you would, and you definitely left it in a better place. Her leadership skills alone are enough to talk about. But yeah, I just think she had that like very hungry attitude and that kind of leadership that that you were able to kind of sense and feel through the TV when you were watching or seeing her play on the court. But speaking of the WNBA, it was very raggedy of me to tease that I was going to talk about the WNBA draft and then never actually get to that. And for that, I'm sorry. And now it's been like 2, maybe 3 weeks. Like literally the first WNBA game is coming on tonight. It's a Friday and I'm recording. And for that, I'm so sorry. But tonight, the Indiana Fever are playing. And I just think it's going to be quite a year, okay? The Indiana Fever, they're young, but I just, with Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, which I saw a tweet that said somebody's calling them ABC squared. Oh my God, do you get it? ABCC? I don't know. It certainly left a mark on me. It certainly was memorable for me. So I will be referring to them as such moving forward. And so they will be having a time, I think, in that pick and roll. I really do. And I hope the Indiana Fever really lets him cook because the both of them together, lethal, very lethal. But quickly to the details of the WNBA draft. Rickea Jackson was the best dressed. She had a wardrobe change, something I've literally never seen. And then I had Nika Mule as my second place. And then Caitlin Clark was in Prada, so I gave her my third place. You can see all of that on TikTok. I don't want to rehash. But the only other thing I would make about the change, because I thought having Drea Carter on there was huge. All right, shout out to Drea. She's a freaking superstar and always has been, and I've known that really since the moment I met her, but phenomenal. But I really wish they would, maybe not have the analysis right behind them in the loudspeaker. Like, it was just awkward. Like, they would say something about them, and they were sitting right there. I don't know. Very weird experience. But all in all, enjoyed it. I think it was the best one so far. It didn't feel like we were too far away. It didn't feel like it was too closed in. Like, it was just enough. Like, there were fans and family and all that, but didn't feel like we were on top of people, but also didn't feel like we were forever and a day away from them either. And I feel like in the past, it has felt like one or the other. So I felt like that was a very good job that they did. Moving to Stagecoach, okay, we're only going to briefly be here because I know nothing about Stagecoach. I did find out that it's held on the same grounds as Coachella, which that was certainly news to me. I had no idea. Because I was looking at the pictures and I posted on TikTok and I'm like, that looks like the same Ferris wheel and the little colorful installation that I saw at Coachella last year. Like, what's good, really? And then someone let me know that, it's in the same spot. But I wonder why they don't talk about it like the same place. Like, I always feel like people are like, oh, Palm Springs, we're going to Coachella. But I don't hear people say that about Stagecoach. So, but I say that like, I don't really be paying attention to Stagecoach. Anyway, moving on. On the last podcast, I talked about Stagecoach because there was a possibility that Beyonce was going to do a surprise appearance at Stagecoach, okay? And the internet was ablaze. We were talking about it, tweeting about it, making TikToks about it. Even Stagecoach, okay? They had like a live stream. They were talking about it. And this is why I think they're raggedy for that. Because they know good and well, or they knew good and well Beyonce wasn't coming. And they rode that story, okay? And that was a problem for me. And what we were looking at was, it said, Post Malone and surprise guests. Okay. Obviously, Post Malone was on Beyonce's album on Levi's jeans. And I just think it would have been a funny and cute moment. Also, Beyonce left there was like a pickup truck or like a trailer with the Cowboy Carter art on it, like it was advertising at Coachella. It was like dropped off toward the end of Coachella. And so people were like, oh my gosh, it's going to still be here. It's for Stagecoach, blase. Anyway, Beyonce was in Japan. Okay, that's all you really need to know. That woman did not come to Stagecoach. She did not fly to Palm Springs. Now, Post Malone did have surprise guests. They just were not named Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. And they were like, it was like Brad Paisley, which, like, no shade to Brad and his fans, but quite a letdown if you showed up for Beyonce. And I got on the stream, okay? It was already like 20 minutes behind. So thankfully, I got to go to bed, earlier than some people, because once I didn't see people were talking about it on Twitter, I'm like, oh, that woman is not there. She's not there, because somebody would have spotted her by now. So quite unfortunate. But that brings me to another thing about this like whole Post Malone situation. Now, I'm not hip to Post Malone and his music. Okay, he's not my kind of artist, I don't think. But I know plenty of people who are. And so when this whole like Miley and Post Malone being on the album thing came up, I thought y'all were saying they were people who were in country music and then left country music, and like people didn't care, okay? Like didn't care that they moved in and out of the space, but they had such a problem when Beyonce kind of moved in and out of space, which for Miley, of course, is true, right? Like her dad, Billy Ray Cyrus, she was very country at the beginning. She had her accent on Hannah Montana, and then like ditched that whole thing for the Bangers era and whatever eras came after that. Then she slipped back into the country thing and then slipped right back out, right? Okay, so I thought that's what Post Malone kind of did. He was in and out, and then that was that. No, they're saying that man is going into his country era. Like he never had a country era before now. So I don't know. That just kind of blew me a little bit, because that means like Beyonce knows that these people are going to welcome him with open arms, because he's been talking about this country era and it's going to be no problem at all for him. Like, why was he even at Stagecoach? Now, do I think they would have given Beyonce a set if she wanted it? Yeah, of course. Okay, got to sell the tickets. Do I think Miranda Lambert would have been very hot if Beyonce popped up at Post Malone's set? Yes. Girl, please. But I don't know. I just feel a way about that. Like, he hasn't even hit his country era. And of course, country fans are going to be like all about him because they were at Stagecoach. But I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with my spirit. But yeah, y'all let me know how that goes. Moving on to this Drake and Kendrick beef. Okay. We talked about it last week, and it's heated up. It's heated up this week. Okay. 2 days ago, Kendrick Lamar responded and dropped Youthforia. So that's what my notes were about, right? My favorite lines were, how many more fairy tale stories about your life till we had enough? How many more black features till you finally feel that you black enough? I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I said this on the podcast last week, but I was talking about that to everybody I could, okay? I like Drake for what I believe Drake is, okay? Like a good time, like he might drop a Marvin's Room, like we love that era of Drake. But like the Drake who wants to be tough, like come on, sir. Come on. We knew you. Like we really knew you during Degrassi, okay? And I just I feel like you playing in my face when you try to act tough like that, because again, I feel like I grew up with this man. So I don't know. Another lyric that I liked, yeah, my first one, like my last one, is classic. You don't have one, let your core audience stomach that. Didn't tell them where you get your abs from. Yikes. Okay, well, first off, they're saying that Drake got some work done, and those abs do look fake. Okay. Sorry to the Drake fans. But yeah, he hit that multiple times. Core, stomach, abs, and then he hit him with the apparently the machine that like helps in this surgery, the V12. I don't know. I just be looking up stuff and watching the videos as they come across my For You page. But anyway, there were 3 different beats in Youthforia. Okay, phenomenal. All right, and I'm just curious if he like just went in the booth and he just tried 3 different approaches. Did he have this coming into the studio? How long did it take him? I just have so many questions, okay? And that's why the show is called Genuinely Curious, because this is what my brain does. But then today, Kendrick dropped another song, okay? Now, this one wasn't like posted as a song on Apple. At least it wasn't when I saw it earlier, okay? But it was leaked, I guess, somewhere on Instagram. But anyway, it's Kendrick Lamar, and he's ripping, he's getting after Drake again. And I haven't really been able to dive into it, but there's a part of it that is so petty that I love, And like, this is the level of like petty that I love to get behind. Like, I love a petty situation, okay? Because like, I like to meet petty with petty. And that is exactly what Kendrick did, okay? He went and got Jack Antonoff to produce this song. Now, if you don't know the significance of that, Jack Antonoff is Taylor Swift's like partner in crime, all right? Has done several albums with this woman, okay? Now, if you go back to last week or a couple weeks ago, Drake's song is called Tailor Made, okay? Or, excuse me, one of the disses is called Tailor Made, all right? And he's coming after Kendrick for saying that Taylor made him, that he's very pop and all this other stuff. Okay, well, this man came back and put Jack Antonoff as a producer on this song. And like, it's, I don't know, it's such a petty gotcha that I love. It's like the language that I speak, and I love that. And it was just so subtle, but like so overt and in your face. Like, come on. But love that for him. And the song is called 616 in LA, which plays on some of Drake's names of his songs. So I don't know what we're gonna get. I don't know if Drake is gonna respond. I don't have any clue. What do you do? I mean, this is obviously a back-to-back situation, which is what Drake was in his last beef made a big deal of. And so I don't know. I have no idea what to expect, but I have a feeling we're in for a ride for however long they decide to go back and forth. But I am glad J. Cole did step away. I'll say that, because I just don't think he needed to be in this. And I hope he and Kendrick are just still very good friends. That's what I hope, because J. Cole's also one of my favorite rappers. Okay, they're both in my top 3. Okay, now moving on to this Youthforia situation with makeup. So Gloria is a creator on TikTok, and she always calls out brands that are not shade inclusive. Okay, so for the darker girlies who have deeper complexion, she's always like using her platform to make sure like these companies are held to a standard, because there are all kinds of beige, tan, whatever. But when you get to the deeper shades, people want to act a fool and act like they don't have enough money to produce them. So Youthforia already had gotten blasted, I don't know, end of last year, sometime last year. She had said online like there weren't enough shades, and there was a lot of backlash once the company came back and, you know, they said they had 15 shades before. And obviously a lot of them are on one half of the spectrum. And so they came back, they had an apology situation, and they came back with 10 more shades. Well, included in that 10 more shades, they had literally, from what Gloria's saying and what she swatched, is like a black foundation. Like, so much so that they couldn't even find anybody to swatch it on. Like, there was no one there for the swatch photo, because they couldn't find anybody that dark. To which case, Gloria's like, why would you even do that? This looks like black face paint, like y'all are playing games. And she literally did a comparison of black face paint and this foundation. Gloria has 1.5 million followers on TikTok, so people are certainly tuned into the situation. She's been quoted all over in these publications, but she's not letting up on them. And they had the nerve to like reach out to influencers and representatives and like tell them like, hey, can you go leave positive reviews on this video and tell them like how much better things have gotten? And thankfully somebody posted that and was like, oh, you thought like that's not how this is about to go. So here they are again, gonna have to do another apology tour. But here's my thing: 2 scandals in the 2 years that you've been a company. Like, I don't know. I think we just pack it up. This isn't for you. This is not the business for you. Let's move along. Unless you want to like exclusively cater to lighter shades, like go ahead, sis. They're probably still gonna buy them. But I don't know. I just feel like if you've gone this bad in 2 years, it just ain't the business for you. All right, now moving to some of the, I guess, the reviews nobody asked for. I really haven't watched too much. I've been watching the Upshaws on Netflix, and that has been really good. I really enjoyed the first and second part. They don't really do seasons, but second part, loved that. Mike Epps, Wanda Sykes, like they're hilarious. And so I always find myself cracking up watching them. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Abbott Elementary, I'm caught up now. And are we going to have a situation with Gregory or no? I think no. I feel like Abbott Elementary is like The Office. Like it's going to be a slow burn. We're going to get to like season 5 and like they're still not going to be together. I didn't watch The Office. I just know that. They were a slow burn. But yeah, the last episode where Gregory sees Janine out on the date, or the date he thinks she's on, and the way he acts, phenomenal. Not that I think people do that in real life, but that was hilarious. Okay, to be loud, to be yelling in that place, to be asking that woman 18 million questions because you're jealous. Like, sir, please, you are the one who turned her down. Like, let's be for real. Anyway, moving to things that I'm looking forward to right now that I'm going to watch before the next episode. So we're going to have Aces versus Everybody. It's on YouTube. Then there's Idea of You on Prime with Anne Hathaway and the cute guy from Purple Heart. And I don't know, I can't think of the name, but Nick Galantine. I know that. And it's supposed to be based on like Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde. So I'll be interested to see that. I think it'll be good. At least it's a rom-commy or rom movie, and I love rom-coms. So I'll be watching that. And then the Met Gala is Monday. And I think that the fact that Zendaya doesn't have an outfit until tomorrow, or at least isn't fitted for it, is wild. Which there's some fashion girls who told me that is not the most like abnormal thing, but I feel like it's abnormal in the sense that she would have at least been fitted already. But my theory is that she is dressing in like some sort of like live flowers situation. Like, maybe not live, like once they're cut, they're dead, but like a bunch of flowers, because the theme is the Garden of Time. And so somehow they're going to tie in like this live flower situation, maybe dead flowers, because Garden of Time. I don't know. Either way, I think she's going to shut it down. She's one of the co-chairs, and like she and Law Roach, her stylist, do not miss, and so I don't expect that they will miss when she's the co-chair and she's returning back to the Met Gala after not being there for a couple years. So I think they're going to kill it, and I can't wait to talk about it on next week's episode. Now, to the things I've been genuinely curious about this week. Last week, we talked about retainers and how many people lose them each year. And this week, I only have a little bit more information. There are no official stats out there, but I did find a study that said they followed 200 people, okay, in this study, and 171 of them lost their retainer, okay? So you do the math, all right? That's a lot of people losing a lot of retainers, and only 30 of those 171 lost them after more than 2 years. So everybody else, okay, 140 people lost their retainer in the first 2 years of having it. How insane is that? And so I say to you, wow, what an accomplishment for me, okay? I've had mine for over 16 years at this point. Can we give me a round of applause? How about a round of... Have y'all seen The Game? Tasha Mack singing that song? Oh my gosh. What a freaking classic. Standing ovation. Oh my gosh. Really? Anyway, there's some TV that you just like cannot forget. And that is one of them. A follow-up to my question last week about will we ever see a performance between Miley Cyrus and Beyonce for the Two Most Wanted song. Of course, have no answer to that. And my guess is once. We might get it one time. But my other question is, what award show is going to be blessed with the first country Beyonce performance? Because obviously it cannot be one of the country awards because they don't deserve. Okay. And I can't imagine she's going to give it to them. That would be wild. Okay. Now, could it be petty? She could absolutely do it in a petty way, I think. But I think there will be too many eyes and too many ratings that she would give them. So I don't think they deserve. But my question for this week is, who is manufacturing pickled pig lips? Because that is disgusting. Okay. I saw somebody post about this last week, and I just am baffled that there are enough people and there's enough demand that there would be jars and jars and jars of this somewhere being produced in a factory and placed in a store. I mean, rows. And so my question is, do you want better for yourself? I'm kidding. Like, I used to eat chitlins growing up, so like I'm certainly can't be in the camp of like I'm better than other people. But I eventually grew out of that because they stink and I just couldn't get past the intestines part of it. But at what point do we say enough is enough? like put this place out of business. Like stop eating them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to like have someone kill a pig, make it like at their own house, right? Farmers making it locally. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. But for there to be a need in such a way that they need to be produced and preserved like this, I don't know. But anyway, that's what I'm genuinely curious about today. So if you eat pig lips, how about you DM me or comment on one of these forums, okay? Because I'd like to know more. I really would. If you know a pig lips manufacturer, I would also like to talk to them, okay? Maybe we'll have them on the show. Probably not, but I just think it was worth noting. I've loved being here with y'all, and I can't wait to be back next week. I really wish I could make this every day. If I could edit fast enough, if I could produce fast enough, I would absolutely do this every day, okay? If I didn't have to deal with hooligans all day, I would do this every day. But thank y'all for coming and listening. It was a lot of me rambling today. If I can get someone secured as a guest, they can come on. So let me know what you think of the episode. DM me, comment, whatever. Do all the things. I'm at Shantiana Keys. I'm not going to spell that for you. It's very long. And I would say like, forget it. Let's do it. It's my podcast. I can go as long as I want. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you found the podcast, you can find my name, right? So it's just my name at Shantiana Keys. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I hope you'll come back next Saturday. Okay, bye.